that was a good while ago. A little bit more recently, The Apprentice, and back in 2012.
Sure.
You must have been asked about this a billion times. You're probably sick of it, but how was it? Just what was your experience?
Honestly, first time I've been asked that. Honestly, today.
So what's the latest project you're working on? What's Leon Doyle up to these days?
So he's stopped spinning his plates because the problem with being a startup guru, as you might know, is starting up too many companies and having too many plates to spin. And actually you take your eye off the ball with your main goal. So okay. I've sold, closed, palmed off and split down the middle with existing co-founders of previous companies and set up Wi-Fi Plug, which is an app-controlled smart plug for the Internet of Things boom that's IoT, about to go crazy. That's the one.
It's a big deal.
And that's kind of all my eggs are in that basket at the moment.
So what made you come up with Wi-Fi Plug? What's the genesis of the idea?
Sure, okay. Well, I can't take any credit. I'll have to give that to my wife, who was forever making us turn the car around just before a long journey. Doesn't matter where we were on the road, it'd be, Leon, turn the car around. I've left my straighteners on. So the thought of actually developing the idea to switch hair straighteners off remotely was an idea of mine that I was going to sell to GHD or a big hair straightener provider like Cloud9. But as we were developing it and I got the team in, got the engineers in, the science guys in, they were like, yeah, you could make this idea for hair straighteners and they might not buy into it. Or you could make it a universal adapter, therefore it would trigger any appliance remotely. And so that's how it began actually, and it began whilst I was running quite a successful shoe company, and I'd set up the R&D unit and putting money into that, and I'd been approached before for the shoe company to sell, and I thought, you know, if I can get that big cash injection from the sale of my previous company, I can get R&D done, we can spin this plug around within 12 months. Right. And so I did, and I probably sold a little bit too early, but you know, with anything, you never know. You never know. Hindsight for sure. Wonderful thing. So yeah, I got the cash in. We self-funded the entire project, if you like, which could have been to my downfall because all you ever see on Silicon Valley or not the TV show, I mean, the actual place or Silicon Roundabout over there. Yeah, Silicon Roundabout, of course, is that all they do is just go round after round after round of getting money. Yeah. Before they've actually developed anything. So it's a different paradigm, but I wanted the product out there, and getting it out there as soon as possible meant that we were the first to UK market. There was actually a US competitor that came out around about the same time, which, if anything, it aided our marketing, so it wasn't the end of the world. But
so the Wi-Fi plug is the first smart plug available in the UK?
Yeah, it was, yeah, absolutely.
How long has it been on the market for?
Now it will have been out for, we've just had our second birthday, so let's say 2 years minus R&D, yeah.
Now most people will know you from TV. People may recognise you.
If anyone. Maybe
I
nobody.
certainly didn't. I
don't who does? Well, that was a blast from the past. That was, say, 3-4 years ago.
Let's go back even further if you don't mind.
Okay.
Back to 2009 I've done my research.
Wow, yes you have.
Dragon's Den, I believe you were on briefly.
Yes, Dragon's Den.
The BBC one.
Well, that was really me, startup guru in my infancy, because I'm pretty sure I only ran the company that I went on for investment for about 6-7 weeks. And so I was completely clueless with terminology that investors were looking for. You've got it. Yeah, good memory. So I was pitching or asking for investment. I didn't even know why. I didn't even know if I needed it. I didn't really know what the term sheet was or what it was supposed to look like. And I was flummoxed and I was caught out because one of the dragons said, "So Leon, what's your exit strategy?" And I was like, "Look, what the hell is an exit strategy? I've never even heard that terminology." This is sort of 7 years ago. I'd be 21.
Oh,
yeah. So yeah, really young. And certainly, here's a tip for anyone wanting to go on Dragon's Den. Do your research on your own company, their companies, and what an investment term sheet should look like. So at least you have the figures and the knowledge. But actually, what I will say to Tom and anyone that's watching is, even if you don't, as long as you've got an alright looking company and you present yourself pretty well, it's free marketing to X million people.
So that was a good while ago. A little bit more recently, The Apprentice, and back in 2012.
Sure.
You must have been asked about this a billion times. You're probably sick of it, but how was it? Just what was your experience?
Honestly, first time I've been asked that. Honestly, today. The process was pretty good. So it was long hours. What you see on TV is pretty much the truth. There's a bit of editing, but as with any sort of video production company, I'm sure this will get edited.
No, edited. Yeah.
Edited.
Don't know what that means.
Yeah, it was a really good show. Real life tasks. You're spoon fed a couple of things. He does lay on a few things, but it's up to you to nail it and get it right. It was just really, really good experience. And going back to the advice I was giving your viewers, just get on TV if you can, because the exposure is phenomenal. It's priceless as well. I mean, the BBC are renowned for not being able to advertise products. So if you can get on there, and anyone knows how to use Google, they can find your company like that. So I'd say
even to this day.
Right now, yeah, absolutely. To this day.
So do you think The Apprentice give a good idea, a realistic idea of what being an entrepreneur is like in the real world? Do you think becoming a successful business person is what they sort of shove it to be on the show? Dog eat dog?
Well, the dog eat dog aspect was very much production led. The producers would come in and say, look, you guys are getting on a bit too well. Remember,
really?
Oh yeah. They were like, remember, only one of you can win it. Don't be so friendly. Don't pat each other on the back. Really rough each other up a little bit. And the reality is, and you'll know this, you can't do business with people that you don't A, get on with, or B, you have to be compatible. You have to work with them. And there's no way that the real world, well, certainly in my business life, is anything like that.
Right.
But maybe it's like the training. It certainly showed me that there's a lot more hours in the day. I mean, ordinarily I'd probably get in about 8:30, leave about 6. But when you're on The Apprentice, you're starting at 3, 4 in the morning and finishing at about midnight. So there's a lot more hours to accomplish a lot more things.
Did it help you much professionally? I don't want to get too personal or anything, but did opportunities come up? Did you sort of come up with new ideas because of it? Or did you ever go back to normal?
Actually, well, it's very interesting. The sort of moment I left the show, I left, by the way, I didn't get fired. No, the moment I got fired, week 8, was...
it's not good, that's not bad going.
It wasn't bad, sort of 3/4 of the way through.
It's good.
But the PR company that is behind The Apprentice, they were saying, we'll handle any opportunities and we'll send them your way, kind of thing. And it was really interesting because sort of like 24 hours after the show had finished, I'd been offered a marketing director role at a lighting company that I knew nothing about lighting, of course, but marketing is fairly transferable.
Sure.
And it's for $100,000. So at the time I was like, well, I had no idea that was going to come through. But what actually happened was, the following day, as we got our results back from the night before's takings on the website, the master menu or the online takeaway.
Okay, fine, yeah.
And we bolstered our servers. We knew TV from the previous experience
Would be a big hit.
Would be a big hit,
Yeah.
and boy, it was such a big hit that we again took 1 million hits, but within about 30 minutes, and that's when the server starts to melt because it just can't take
You
things.
can't get ready for that.
But we had a substantial order rate, and from that, customers and retention. So I turned the offer down sort of fairly quickly.
Because you can see how successful you're being yourself.
So you can see that, yeah, with a bit of a bigger marketing budget, pretending that the BBC was a paid for event, you can actually achieve better results. So yeah, it taught me a couple of things.
Okay, so behind the camera, Leon Doyle, who is he? Is he a techie guy? Do you like the technology?
Yes. I think...
you've come up with a master menu, you've come up with some shoe stuff.
Yeah.
This is the Wi-Fi plug, which you're plugging.
Oh, please. It looks like you're plugging it.
That's true. It's nothing to do with me.
There she is.
I'm sure it's very good.
So, well, it's not only very good. There's one bloody down here. I mean, they're everywhere in this office. But as you can see, it's the world's smallest smart plug. So we're really, really pleased with that. Like, nobody in the world can get it smaller than that legally. And that's a good point to mention, because there's a lot of the Chinese out there that are knocking them out, for crazy prices, but they don't have any certification, they don't have any testing. I mean, you're remotely controlling an electrical appliance from abroad, perhaps. I mean, I wouldn't dare control something from my phone on a different country if it didn't have the kind of testing, the backup behind it. So
I agree with you.
It's crazy that people do that. They say there's going to be sort of 2 billion connected devices by 2020. At the moment, the curve is just starting to take off. 1 million connected devices in the UK alone, so it has stepped up. What we see, this is a retrofit version, you know, people just plug and play that. But what we're doing and developing at the moment is the actual socket plate to be Wi-Fi controlled and the light switches to be Wi-Fi controlled. They'll be out by Christmas. So instead of retrofitting, we're going to the new builds, and you know, when you're buying a house, you just tick the box. Yes, I'll have some Wi-Fi controlled sockets. Yes, I'll have Wi-Fi controlled lights.
Are you doing this yourself? Have you got a team behind you?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no way I could do this myself.
What's the work that goes into this?
Well, at the beginning it was the R&D, and that was kind of the pricey bit because I didn't really understand what needed to be done, and it was actually the certification, tooling, all of those aspects that you just don't factor in, that do start to make the plug expensive, and it's relentless, you know, paychecks here, paychecks here. So kind of your big costs and then your manufacturing on top. These are your big outlays.
What gadgets can you live without? What's really important to Leon Doyle? What does he have on his bedside table on his desk?
He's got, at the moment, because we're testing the iWatch, so I've just got one of those. I'm not really that bothered about it.
Okay.
It's cool, I mean, it's great. It's just everything's more miniature, and I thought it would be more iOS-y, but it's not.
It's too finicky to you.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll map it out and sort it. So what couldn't I live without? Well, clearly the phone, because how would I be able to turn my coffee machine on with a Wi-Fi plug if I didn't have my smartphone by my bed?
I don't think you could.
I couldn't. I simply couldn't. Unless, of course, I use IFTTT functionality to turn the coffee machine on when the sun rose, which you can do, of course. It's got IFTTT functionality.
Inbuilt into the Wi-Fi plug.
Yep. If this, then that. Really cool piece of tech. Can create over 1,000 different recipes, should your heart desire.
So what have you got running a smart plug at home? Is your entire home filled with these? Has every socket got one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? That's it. Right.
Most aren't even in use. You know, they're just sat in the socket. But again, you know, I'm trying to act as a consumer, and I need to think, you know, what will I use this for, blah, 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 and so they're everywhere.
So what are you using it for? I know you mentioned the straighteners was the reason why you made it in the first place, but day to day, what do you find yourself turning off and on the most?
Well, in the office, I could fire up all the boring stuff, like the vending machine and things, because actually, interestingly enough, vending machines consume a lot of power overnight. They're a fridge, ultimately, so they're keeping the products cool. But we've set a Wi-Fi plug up on a vending machine to trigger on and off every other hour. So we've saved 50% of energy consumption. Straight away off the bat. And we're actually doing some work with vending company at the moment. It's really clever, actually. Because we've got energy monitoring on our Wi-Fi plug power, we're able to they're able to remotely see when their vending machine needs servicing, maintaining remotely, because they can see how many times it's crushed coffee beans, for example, and they can see that maybe their average consumption is like 60 cups of coffee a day, all remotely. It's phenomenal tech, and we've applied a digital signature to their vending systems, and it's cool. It's really awesome. It's certainly come a lot further than turning a hair strainer.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw this at the Gadget Show back in April, I think it was.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah.
And you had a stall there, and I looked at it and I thought, well, I think I've seen this sort of thing before. I've heard of it, a smart plug. You know, you can go on Amazon, you can see a range of them. But you did mention that this is, you know, UK built, UK designed, and that usually comes with connotations of well designed, well built. But what's special about the Wi-Fi plug? Why this is how much, if you don't mind me asking?
We've got a couple. That's the normal Wi-Fi plug mini. They're £30, and then the Wi-Fi plug power is £50, and that's got the energy monitoring in it as well.
Okay, so that's the higher end of the market. That's a little bit more expensive. Do you think people will pay that? Obviously you do. Well, you price
let me just see. Have we had? Yes, people are definitely still paying that. No, people are paying it because we actually offer above and beyond the knockoffs, if you like. And it's not to say they're knockoffs, but they remotely turn appliances on and off. But going back to the whole testing thing, a lot of these are just thrown out of China with zero testing, zero certification, and it's lethal. I mean, there's nothing worse than rigging your house up with potentially a remote controlled bomb.
Yeah. You're a startup guru, and you know what's trending, maybe what's not.
Yeah.
So let's play a little fad or future.
Okay.
So I'm going to list off a few techs, a few gadgets, a few technologies, and you're going to tell me whether you think it's just a gimmick, a bit of a trending thing, or actually has a legitimate future. Perhaps.
All right. Okay.
So let me grab my hastily prepared list here.
Okay.
So what do you think of 3D TVs?
3D TVs.
Yeah.
Well, they've been around a while, haven't they? I've got one. I have actually got one, and I watched what are those little guys called? The yellow
Minions.
Minions. I watched the Minions, and at the very, very end, I've been watching it all with these 3D glasses on, and at the very end, they'd actually teed up the DVD to be 3D ready, and they were feeding this tape measure, and that is mind-blowing. But you had to watch 2 hours of these little guys running around just for that tape measure moment, and I haven't seen anything since, so I'm going to go fad.
Alright.
Yeah.
Curved TVs.
Ugh, now they're interesting. There's a lot of those at the Gadget Show, and I'm probably going to get one, so I'm going to say future.
Fine, excellent, we've got one of each. How about drones? Consumer drones.
Ooh, drones. So the consumer ones are great. I mean, again, I've got a couple of those. I only get the little ones crashing into a wall and they're a write-off, but they're a bit of fun. So actually, future, but maybe not going to last forever.
Okay, how about broadcast TV, like as opposed to on like streaming or Netflix or something? So like in BBC One, are people going to move away? Is broadcast TV the future?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. There's a lot of stuff you can watch online, catch up, etc. I mean, BBC iPlayer does that count? Are we moving that into the future, or are we saying is that
is part of the future? That's the
okay. So that's there. I guess broadcasting will have to be a fad then, because everyone fast forwards the ads. You know, the advertisers aren't getting the return on investment they used to because people were forced to watch it.
Okay.
Fad.
VR headsets.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Like the Oculus or
I like
Morpheus
it. Yeah,
or
Oculus Rift. So haven't really used them that much because I'm not really a gamer.
Okay.
But a future for sure, and also I think if they put it into the hospitals, maybe for training and stuff, training surgeons, you know, they could play the videos out. I think that would be pretty awesome. Yeah.
So what are you most excited for? What piece of technology are you looking forward to most in the world? What's coming up that's got Leon Doyle excited? Anything?
Yes. So what's really exciting at the moment is. Was that in the question list? Because you've thrown me there a little, because there's loads of technology, but okay, let me ask you the question.
Okay.
What are you really looking forward to the most?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Isn't it just?
Very well asked as well. I would say I'm looking forward to faster broadband. Super fast.
Okay.
Where everything can be instant, you can have 4K movies constantly going on. I upload these videos, it takes me about days to upload. Okay. So I live in rural Somerset in England. Sure. You're from the big cities. Sure. So for me, faster broadband is what I'm most excited about.
Well, I think you're lucky because that actually is inevitable. You're
absolutely.
going to get faster broadband.
Maybe I'm looking a bit,
No, I like that. I was really throwing it out there. I was like, well, obviously going to space would be sweet.
Asteroid mining, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Go on
mining from the moon. That would be
that's
pretty
what
awesome.
I'm excited about.
Yeah. Really looking forward to that day.
So what's next for Wi-Fi plug? What's coming next?
Well, we've got the sockets for the home builders and the light switches, and so they'll have the same features, timers and monitoring, electric monitoring, and the light switches it's something we're really looking forward to because it means you can pretty much light the house up on your wearables remotely.
I love the idea of that. That sounds good. So what's the future for Leon Doyle though? You're a startup guru, we've been through this.
Yes.
You don't stay with things, this is doing quite well.
Sure,
now.
Yeah. So at the moment, I've had an offer for Wi-Fi plug, but it's because of the roadmap and where we sort of see the cusp of the Internet of Things, we're probably going to hold on, or at least I'll hold on in the driving seat for the next 12 months and see where we are with the plugs and, who knows.
Can you see yourself being in a management position for the rest of your life?
No.
That's the answer to that.
No, I really can't, Tom, and that is the problem. I'm really enthusiastic at the beginning, and then when things are just ticking over, like a normal boring office, that's where I'm kind of less interested, if you like.
Sure, we still got the enthusiasm for it.
Sure, yeah. I mean, hey, we've got the enthusiasm and we've got the interest. We've got big contracts lined up. We've got Screwfix, Imperial College have done a massive deal. So there's a lot of interest out there, and in fact globally, because of the data and the APIs that we offer, we've got a lot of interest from electricity companies as well. Boring for you guys, but all right for us.
And you got the tech chat talking about it.
Even got the tech chat talking about it.
Well, Leon, thank you very much for coming on TN Tech. I really appreciate you
My pleasure.
talking to us about Wi-Fi plug. And this is available now. We can buy this
Sure, of course.
on the website.
Why not? Why not?
Awesome. Well, I'll take this one.
Yeah, okay. Take it. Wi-Fi-plug.co.uk. Check it out. So we've got a bit closer, which is a bit weird, but if you guys want to check out the Wi-Fi plug, and Tom's explained that it's slightly higher price, but maybe we could do a deal perhaps, so you could maybe...
I'm not so sure.
Okay, well we'll see. Why don't we knock off, say, margin's pretty tight, throw in here, if I don't pay my rent, 20% off.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, cool. How about Chap 20 at the checkout?
It's got my name in it.
Perfect.
No problem with that.
Try it out and then give it a go.
So they can go to your website, which is
Wi-Fi-plug.co.uk,
and buy one of these very smart Wi-Fi plugs.
Yeah, buy 3
and get 20% off.
Yeah, Chap 20. We might actually have to delete all that.